Welcome to the Life and Money podcast with Danielle and Franchelle.
I'm Danielle,
And I'm Franchelle.
and this is the podcast where we talk about what's keeping you from having the life and money you want and deserve.
Awesome. So, what are we talking about today? Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day! You are you are appropriate. I'm less appropriate, I guess.
Yeah,
I
but
guess I'm wearing the money part and you're wearing the love part.
I
You know what I
know,
mean?
I know we switched, right? And for the last couple of weeks, we've been dressed alike, so that's interesting. I was thinking we would be again today, but you know what? I wear this color every day, so it's like every day is Valentine's Day.
Oh, so you're someone who loves love? Oh, so we're talking about love
We're
today.
talking
That's what
about
we're
love.
talking about love today. We're talking about love. Are you someone who loves love?
I do love love. I'm not a huge fan anymore of like romantic relationships, but I do love bringing love to everyone and also experiencing love and receiving love.
What I love is even expanding the conversation that you can receive love outside of romantic
Mhm.
ways, right? So, like, I think I feel like in a lot of ways, this day feels like if you're not in a romantic
Mhm.
relationship, you don't get to participate in it.
Yeah, I follow this I guess he's a counselor or something, like a divorce counselor on Instagram, and yesterday he posted something like this month is for people who are in relationships, so I'll see you in March or something like that. And I was like, that is so sad.
I think it's sad and disrespectful. Like,
Yeah.
almost as if, so I'm currently not partnered in a relationship. And what about you?
I am happily, eternally single.
And so, oh my gosh, you tickled my whole soul. You tickled my whole soul with that. Like, did you say internally? Like,
Eternally,
eternally? Like forever?
forever and ever, as long as I can control it. Amen.
So, like, feeling like, oh, if we're not partnered or don't want to be, we don't have access to like this day or like,
Right.
and so I love being able to like expand the narrative on
Hmm.
this day so that people don't feel depressed and feel like, oh, I'm on the outside. This day isn't for me.
I
Um,
can't even imagine feeling depressed on Valentine's Day. Like it's so interesting because I spent most of my life trying to be partnered, trying to figure it out. And now that I'm like, okay, I'm done trying to figure it out. I'm happy. I'm just enjoying what is right now. I'm so happy. Like there's no expectations. There's no expectations for today. There's no I don't need to try and coerce another person to get dressed up and take me out or buy me flowers or whatever it is. It's just so fascinating how differently I think about it now than I used to.
so I hear no expectations. Um, what else is different? So was it the expectations that brought the sorrow?
I think so. I think so. And I think like isn't that what they teach you in Buddhism, right? Like the suffering comes from your expectations and your reality not matching your expectations. So a
Yeah.
lot of times in relationships especially you're upset because you want this other person to behave a certain way that they're not behaving and it feels bad.
Yes, it feels bad. And I guess this season of singleness for me has really taught me about loving myself
Yeah.
because you can only receive love at the same capacity that you love yourself.
Yes.
And when you really do love yourself, whatever happens from other people, it's kind of like bonus.
Yeah.
So you're not looking for them to fill your cup. You're not looking for them to give you what you're not willing to give yourself.
Yeah.
So, like for me, it really highlights how I feel about me and like, am I comfortable being with me today and loving on
Mm.
me? And I love, love, I love all parts of love. I guess someone said, "Oh yeah, you're an Aquarius." My birthday is on Friday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Birthday. Woo, woo. And someone was like, "Oh yeah, that's so you. You love love. You're an Aquarius." I don't know what that means. Like I don't
Mhm.
really follow it, but I love all aspects of it. But today, really, I love being able to show myself love, not just in like buying flowers and taking myself out to eat, but in just like being able to feel my emotions all the way through, being
Mhm.
able to not run away from me, being able to sit and spend time with me doing nothing, being
Yeah.
able to just love all of the parts of me that are acceptable, the ones that are not acceptable, love my stretch marks,
Right.
love all of my bumps, and like all of the things that make me up, and just really appreciating me, because how could I ever expect anyone to love
Mhm.
all parts, my imperfect and perfect? Well, I guess there's no perfect, the imperfect and well accepted parts, if
Mhm.
I don't love them.
Mhm.
So today's feels like a good reminder to just really like assess where
Mhm.
my love for myself is,
Yeah.
and what my capacity to receive
Mhm.
is, versus saying you need to give me flowers. Now I love flowers. I love gifts.
Mhm.
Like, so I'm not saying don't do those things. I accept
Right.
all of them, but I do them for me first, and it feels kind of like bonus, when I get it from
Yeah.
someone.
I love that. And I think that is absolutely right. And I think that's probably where the expectation and the disappointment come from. Because certainly for me, this year, and probably last year too, we're so drama free
Mm.
because I learned to love myself and I wasn't expecting anyone else to love me. And I think that's part of like the, you know, did I get the gift? Are we going to do the special date? Like all that is like, show me that you love me, right? And then now I'm like, I love me, so you can do what you want to do. Like there's not going to be any kind of like there. I don't need that,
Yeah.
which is so different than every other year of my life. It's like amazing. So I think I'm really enjoying this. Just being single and just realizing that I finally, for the first time ever, like really, really love myself so well that I don't have to depend on anyone else to do it for me.
Ah, and what I also love, it's a guide. So let's say someone does want to come in, and let's say for me, I am open to someone coming in, and let's say you are too, or if someone just
Mhm.
pops by. You already give them the framework of what loving you looks like.
Mhm.
Like, so they already, if they are paying attention, they see how you love you. They
Mhm.
see what you do for you. They see how you speak to you in difficult moments. They
Right.
see the tone that you talk, what your, like, you can mirror what your self talk for you is, and what the standard is on how to love you.
Yeah.
And if you like gifts, how you enjoy doing gifts because you do them for yourself already.
Right.
It really helps other people when they're ready to love you in a way that feels good, because you already model it
Yes.
in a uh, great way. For me, when I started assessing my self talk, it
Mhm.
changed the way I spoke to myself in difficult situations.
Mhm.
When someone else came to me and talked to me differently, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Right. Yeah.
I don't talk to myself that way. So
Yeah.
you
It's
don't really get it.
it becomes unfamiliar.
It
It
becomes
becomes
unfamiliar.
totally unfamiliar. Yeah, and I think that's what's so interesting about this season of life for me too is that I accepted so much. I
Mhm.
accepted like all the negativity because it was all happening in my head as well. But when I
Yes.
changed that, other anybody else's negativity sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, it's so
Yes.
unfamiliar. And you're like, "Wait, what is happening here?" And because I don't accept it for myself anymore, it's so much easier. Like the last person that I had to release, you know, I released them with love early. I didn't wait until I was dragged. I was like, "Oh, I got a hint of something not being right. Guess what? This is not what we do around here. It's been a lot of fun. You're a great person for someone else. I'm gonna let you go." And it wasn't any negativity. It was like I felt like I was taking care of me. in that moment. Whereas before, it was always an excuse. Oh, he's probably this, he's probably that, he's tired, he's depressed, whatever. Let me be the rock. Let me be the stable one. Let me put myself on the back burner to make sure this person is okay. I didn't love myself enough. I love someone else more than I love me. But
Mm.
how could I even love them if I didn't know how to experience love? So it wasn't love. It was something totally else. It was something completely different, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's fascinating. Yeah, I'm in a good place. I don't need any help. Like I don't need any flowers. I don't need any. Actually, I have somebody gave me like a whole handful of chocolates today, but it's just like I wasn't expecting anything today except a good time. That's it.
And here's the deal, even the difference between you and I, listen, I'll take all the flowers, right? Like I'll still take, but that doesn't mean like our expression, our outward expression could look different.
Hmm.
And if I got no flowers, I'm
Hmm.
still equally as happy.
Yeah.
And I'll take all the flowers, right? Like, so
Yeah.
like anyone who wants to send me flowers, send them on over, right? Like, or hand me flowers. I'll take them all, but I won't feel anything. I'm going to be just as happy and satiated
Yeah.
whether I receive external flowers or not.
Yep.
Um, it's I'm not going to be want 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 if I don't get something external
Right.
because I feel so full in
Yeah.
that category right now,
Yeah. And
and
that's
you're
a
like
place
hey,
that,
but
yeah.
neither one's better.
That's a place that I would hope a lot of people would be in, whether they're single or partnered. That
Yeah.
place where they don't feel, because there's so many people who are like sad.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, oh, it's Valentine's Day. I don't have a Valentine. Oh my gosh, I feel like that breaks my heart. That another day that you get to live and breathe on this planet, and you're sad because there's not another human who's loving you the way you could possibly be loving yourself. I've
Because
been there.
I do have a Valentine. It's this one here. Like
Right.
it's me. Like I get
Yeah.
to love on me today. And that's not from a depressed place or like, oh, well, I guess it'll just be me, right? Because there's some of that
Right.
energy. I
Yeah.
guess it'll just be me again. What
Yeah.
a joy that it gets to be me.
Right.
And I am excited when someone else is here with me, but
Yeah.
I'm always here and I'm gonna love me right. But
Yeah.
it was an evolution to get there. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
curious.
was about to ask. Oh, you're gonna ask me? I was about to ask, how did we get here? Because this isn't, like I was saying, it's like my whole life I wasn't like this. How did we get here?
So for me, step one always is taking inventory. So there were moments where sadness would be associated with this day
Mhm.
because my expectation, and it was even while partnered, right? So
Mhm.
I probably don't have many examples of being unpartnered feeling sad, but I definitely have examples of being partnered feeling sad. And you would think, and I have the external things. I would have the flowers as big as my body, right? Like
Mhm.
big
But
showy
you're
things.
a tiny person.
Listen, listen. We don't really know how tall I am. I'm sitting down. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Um, but like I would get all of these things, and I still came with sadness, unmet expectations. And so when I did inventory of why am I feeling sad, and why am I hoping that soon I'll feel fulfilled, and soon I'll get this, but today wasn't enough. Was living perpetually in the future. One day, hopefully, this deferred gratification, the deferred hope of feeling deep love and satisfaction. One day, this happens, this.
Mhm.
And so when I started to do the inventory of understanding, well, what is it about it that I don't feel it now? And understanding, oh, well, how am I treating myself now? Like,
Mhm.
what is it? And so when I switched it from my desire that an external person could ever, or an external situation, not even a person, but
Mhm.
any external situation is responsible for my today happiness,
Yeah.
then I started to understand, well, how do I make my today happiness? How do I become that? Because this is my definition of freedom,
Mhm.
being able to have peace in any situation, being able to have access to love in any situation.
Mhm.
So, really, for me, it was understanding how do I expand that and what's missing today,
Yeah.
and getting alone with me. So, I went into a season of solitude,
Mhm.
and really started to understand what are the stressors for loneliness. What really is happening? How am I talking to myself in difficult times? How do I show myself love? Why do I need another person to have
Mhm.
space with me in order to feel complete?
Yeah.
What So I started really going through all of those categories.
Mhm.
And so today I really do have deep peace and love while I'm partnered. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
And but I feel very fulfilled and light and fun. Nothing is missing.
That's
But that
so good. Like you bring up a really good point, which is that loneliness while partnered. Like if it's sad to be single on Valentine's Day, it is super sad to be partnered and depressed on any day where especially where you expect to be loved or feel loved and you're not giving that to yourself, but then you're in with this other person you expect. Like it's just that's worst. I think that's the worst.
and society doesn't make it any easier. Like they are like, oh, you don't have anyone. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so there's this definitely this external feeling of
Yeah.
feeling othered on
Mhm.
this day.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to reclaim
Yeah. It's
that,
so
whether
interesting.
you're partnered or not, because you could
Mhm.
be partnered and you're maybe you guys aren't in a good space, but
Right.
finding access to love in any situation, partnered or not,
Mhm.
we just happen to
Yeah.
be partnered.
Yeah.
Uh, and I feel like we both are in really good, happy,
Yeah.
joyous places.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was similar to what you said. I really had to my evolution into self-love happened after I got divorced.
Mm.
I didn't want the divorce. Like I was going to try to basically be a doormat so that my kids could have a father in the home, even though I was unhappy and he was unhappy. But it was like, let's just try to make this work. And he made the decision to go, and I got a life coach. And that was the best thing I could possibly do was to have a life coach because the way it happened, everybody was like, you need to have a therapist. Like, you need therapy. You need to find one. The kids need therapy, like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't want to spend a long time really looking back on what happened in our relationship. I really want to go forward. And so I got a life coach, someone that I thought really understood what I was going through. I had listened to her podcast and I heard her story, and I was like, that's the same thing happened to me. Right. And so to have someone put me in that container, which is similar to what you do in your coaching, and not let you put any responsibility on anyone else but yourself, that was the best thing that could have happened to me because it basically taught me that it does not matter what's happening around me. I have control over me, over what I think and how I feel and how I move, what I do. And that helped me to really take my power back, take
Yeah,
control to where I could start to love me the way I wanted to be loved instead of having this long list of how, this is how I want to be loved and someone else has to do all these things. It was like, why am I not filling my own tank and
yeah.
having responsibility too? So that was a big thing for me. It changed everything. And I've been building on that ever since.
I love, because you're right. That is exactly what I do inside of my container, giving you your power back. You're responsible for all of your outcomes.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, we like to blame the other people. Even society gives it the okay to blame
Yeah.
other people for what's happening. But getting your own power back gives you the ammunition to do it in every area and to refill your own tank. And
Yeah.
anything someone else does is extra, which like is kind of what you do within your program. You help people get their you help spenders get their
Mhm.
power back. Like how
Yeah.
does love relate to money in your opinion? Like what are your thoughts? Because I know
Yeah.
what it does for like our self-esteem and feeling loved in the world, but what
Hmm.
does it do for money?
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, right? So if you're a spender, you've spent your whole life being told that the way you think about money and the way you spend money is wrong. So you've piled on all this judgment onto yourself. And so what we do in the Money Squad is that we show you that the way you do things is the way you do them and they have a reason and it's not wrong. And you get to love whatever you spend your money on, right? Like you get to you get to be the person that you are and not have the judgment or the criticism. Like if you love shopping, not all spenders love shopping. Like people think that, oh, you're just buying all this frivolous stuff. Not all spenders love shopping, right? But if you love shopping and that's your thing, let it be your thing. If you love taking trips and that's your thing, let it be your thing. If you love giving to your children or giving to your family members and that's your thing, let it be your thing, right? So we basically give you permission to be more of who you are, which builds up that self trust so that you get to kind of the place that we are. Because what happened with each of our journeys of evolving into people who loved ourselves, we had to accept all the parts of ourselves, right? We had to accept all the parts of ourselves. Like that first step that I had to take when I first hired my very first life coach, I had to accept my responsibility in the breakup, right? I didn't get to say, like, oh, he did this and he did that. I had to say what I did. What did I do that contributed to the breakup? And
Yeah.
so accepting our responsibility, even if it was wrong or if it's right, is part of our full self acceptance. Like we have to start there. So
Yeah.
if you're overspending, you need to accept the parts of what you're doing and why you're doing. And that's what we talk a lot about in the coaching. It's like, okay, so you bought, 4 Easter ornaments or whatever. This happened. Like somebody was telling me, like, I went in for this one thing and I ended up with this, but I got 4 of them. It's always 4 for some reason. But you bought 4 of them. Okay, that's fine. Let's figure out why you did that and why you felt like you didn't have any power or control to do, not to do that. So that's what we do.
No, you know what's beautiful about that? The one thing I hear in common is we both like go and figure out the why
Mm-hmm.
behind, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're having some disconnect from love or from security or feeling shame, we go back, we go and figure out why. We patch the
Yeah.
hole. Like,
Yes.
okay, you're leaking and hemorrhaging. Like, let's just close the hole. You know what I mean? And finding out the
Exactly.
core reasons so that you can feel better about your decisions and
Right.
not need something to change, not become a saver in order to
Exactly.
start feeling good about yourself, or not become partnered in order to not feel like you're sticking out. Um,
Exactly. Yeah. And if you can't find that why, if you can't get down to that small, that tiny, often very, very quiet, whisper of a reason, you have to keep searching
yeah,
because there's so many ways that, you know, culture will put a band-aid on that or try to distract you from it. There's a reason why Netflix doesn't make you choose the next video. It's like, don't worry, we're just gonna play the next one for you. Because we know that, like you don't want the silence in between the episodes, so you actually have to think about what's happening in your life. Let's just keep going, right? There's a reason why M&Ms come in that party-sized bag, and the crunch is so delicious, and the peanut in the middle is so satisfying. It's like we want you to just keep eating them. Like, don't worry about feeling your feelings. And so we want you to keep searching until you find that small reason, because once you fix that, it's going to not just fix that situation, it's going to fix so many situations in your life. And I think that's one thing that people don't understand, and why I love that we have these conversations each week, is that people don't, they think like, okay, if I go get help, get a coach, like, okay, I need a money coach. All right, that's fine. But you don't realize that when you start with your money, it expands to everything. Your work gets better, your relationships get better, your conversations get better, your parenting gets better. And it's because there's a small seed inside of you that hasn't been addressed. And once it's addressed, it just ripples out to everything in your life.
yes. What you do with one thing is what you do with all things, and you take you with you everywhere. Um, and here's the deal: what I love is because it's scary to go into those quiet places alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're scared of what you're gonna find and be there. If you're not used to feeling your feelings and to go do it alone,
Right.
I can see why you run out. But in your container, you have a community of
Yeah.
people that you can sit that are all like right there with you with their arms around saying,
Yeah.
sis, I feel the same way. I do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't feel alone. I know some of the things that I did, I thought it was just me, but then within the community, I'm like, oh, it's not just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not alone. The way you described it, I remember when we first met. I think you do you remember this? The unicorn, like with
Mhm.
the tutu, and then you're
Yes.
walking down the street. and then
It was a
but you're by yourself.
bumblebee.
Oh, it was a bumblebee?
Yes.
Okay, tell
It's
me,
a
I'm
video.
wrong.
It's a video. Everybody can go see it. It's what is it? Oh my gosh. Now I can't remember. But it's a 90s band, and their video had a little girl dressed like a bumblebee, and she wore glasses, and she was walking around town doing her tap dancing, and everybody was like, okay, what's happening? But then so she felt really discouraged, but then she turned the corner and there was this big field and everybody was dressed like a bumblebee, and they were all like old people and young people and men and women, and they were dancing around all wacky, and she went in there and she was like home. And so I was like, that's us, like we're out here, you know, in these weird bumblebee costumes, and nobody understands us and we're being judged. But when we find each other, it just feels like this collective sigh of relief. And that's what I wanted to create because that's what I needed for myself.
Yeah, yeah. And so then, like, even being able to feel love within your money, feel love within your partnership or singleness or variation, situationship, wherever you are in life, right?
Mhm.
Being able to feel love in all of these spaces this holiday, um, that's kind of what it means for me. It highlights and it at least gets us to have the conversation without feeling like we're just sticking out because everybody's talking about love today. I pulled up at the school. Shoot, here's the deal. I pulled up at the school without any of the we didn't have any of the 29 little things we're supposed to do. Um, we tried, we didn't make it, right? And this is the first year I felt good about myself that okay, we're probably going to be judged and it's probably going to be okay. Like it's like I love myself so much now that
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had to do all the stuff for my kids. It's just my boys that are still in elementary. They didn't care. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I cared more, but it was more from trying to like show up in a certain way versus I love myself so much and I love them. They feel love. That if we don't have all of the things, but it was love
Right.
everywhere. All I mean, it looked like a throw up fest when we pulled
Oh
up.
my gosh. Oh,
So everybody's talking about it, and it gives us the opportunity to assess, understand if we like where we are. Do you
yeah.
like where you are with your money? Do you like where you are when you're alone?
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't, empowering you to do something about it because you have
Exactly.
control.
Yes, and there are options, right? Like you are coaching every day of the week. Maybe not every day, 5 days a week.
5 days, Saturdays, and Sundays are mine.
You're coaching 5 days a week. So, I mean, I just want to talk to everybody out there. If you're watching this and you feel like you're in a place where you feel sad, you feel lonely, something, if you're just not like giddy with excitement on Valentine's Day or any day of the week, reach out because there's a reason for it. It's not normal. I know it feels normal because I remember feeling that for 40 years. It felt normal to be unhappy. I would cry in the shower. That felt normal until one day I was in medical school, and I remember this guy was talking about he would drink a beer in the shower every day after school. And I was thinking, well, he's drinking a beer in the shower. I just thought that was so strange. And then I said something about crying in the shower, and it was like every day, like, why are you crying in the shower? I had just always done that. I thought it was normal. So some of these things that you're living with that are just like normal to you because they've just been the standard for so long, it's not. It's not. And it's time to live a better life because it's available. A better life is available. Happiness is available. Peace
Yeah,
and joy, freedom, it's all available.
contentment in every aspect of your life, including money, like is available.
Yeah.
Like today,
Yes.
not in the future, not
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
but right now. Like
Even in hard times. Like it doesn't even matter what's happening. Things can be burning all around you, but you get to still have joy. It's amazing.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And now that we have access to it, because that wasn't, I was very situationally. Things have
Yeah.
to be this way before I had access to this.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
now,
Me too.
as my resting place,
Yeah.
regardless of what's happening,
Mhm. Yeah.
as
It's
many
crazy.
people that can get access to it. So if people
Yeah.
want to get good with their money and feel peace and love in their money, how do they do that?
Yes. So right now, especially, let me pull out my little wonderful little. We have a 5 day challenge going on, but right now, especially, you can have 5 simple steps to healing your relationship with money. It's a
Mhm.
5 day challenge, and it's also actually teaching you how to heal your relationship with money. All you have to do to join the challenge is to text spender to 44144. And if someone wants life coaching and they really want to get to the core of what's going on with them, how do they get in contact with you?
So if you're ready to get started, schedule a consultation. Like that's the best way. It's free. You get transformation in one conversation. So you can do that by going to DanielleNicoleLifeCoach.com and click on consultation, or you can go to my Instagram and hit book. And if you're not ready to meet with me right now, you can still get started today. You can text purpose to
66866.
thank you.
Six
Purpose
purpose.
to 866.
66866.
You got stuck for a second. I have a free guide. You can download that and start today. And it'll help you take an assessment of where you are today and give you a pathway to freedom, which is feeling peace, love, and joy in any environment. Partnered,
Awesome.
unpartnered, in debt, debt-free, wherever you are, on a rainy day, on a sunny day, no matter what, being able to have access to love, joy, and freedom. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. And if you like this conversation, please continue it in the comments. I remember the name of that band. The band is called Blind Melon, and the song is called No Rain. Go watch a video, come back, tell us what you think about it, and tell us if you are the bumblebee dancing all through the town and looking for her bumblebee tribe. I would love to hear your thoughts about that video. But also, please subscribe to our channel. That really helps us to grow. And also, like this video.
Awesome. Well, then until next week. So today, take care of yourself. Love on you today. I'm hugging myself today. All right. We'll see you
Bye.
next week. Bye.
Bye.